Part 69. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 681. Watch Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu leave. Naturally, the new students also followed. However, Elder Lihuo and other professors present all had unkind expressions. Master, today, Li Xiong opened his mouth, but stopped talking. No need to say more. I see everything you do. Before Li Xiong could finish speaking, Elder Lihuo interrupted, it's not that your Taoist skills are weak, but that Xiaoxian's Taoist skills are better. After saying this, the professors present were surprised again. In fact, although Xiaoxian's performance was better just now, they were unwilling to believe that Li Xiong's Taoism was really weak by Xiaoxian. But now listen to what Elder Lihuo wants. Is Xiaoxian's Taoism really superior? Isn't this a little too weird? What are you going to do? Is it possible that you really think this matter can be settled so easily? Elder Lihuo looked around and saw that the disciples in the professor's college were a little disappointed. He couldn't help but sneered, since Xiaoxian looks down on our professor's college, then we have to let him know the consequences of looking down on us. Say it. The faces of all the professors present looked a little strange for a moment. They all knew Elder Lihuo's temper. He was a man who would retaliate. On weekdays, as long as he provokes people. Few are immune from reprisal. As for today, although Xiaoxian didn't really say anything to him, he made such a big splash in front of him. Elder Lihuo will never turn a blind eye. In the end, there will probably be revenge. Almost everyone present knew this, but only Elder Lihuo himself would be convinced of this matter. If others say too much, it will cause Elder Lihuo to be dissatisfied. It depends on what you mean. Aren't you going to help me? Elder Lihuo looked around and saw that all the professors lowered their heads and said nothing, and their faces were a little ugly. Don't dare. Elder Lihuo, this is a complete misunderstanding. As long as it is your arrangement, that is our goal. What do you think we should do? That's right, you are the dean of our place. Whatever you say is what it is. The professors at the faculty also understand. On the ground of the Professor Academy, Elder Lihuo is naturally a man of his word. Whatever his ideas are, he must be respected no matter what. Otherwise, why would they stay in the professor's college? If I remember well, Xiaoxian should still have 3 days before the trial in the Qinglian Valley. If he is accidentally injured within these 3 days, will he not be able to participate? A hint of sarcasm flashed across Elder Lihuo's lips. Do you think it's possible that a professor has taken the initiative to challenge him these days and get him injured? Speaking of which, no matter how stupid these professors are, they can still understand the meaning behind it. But when it comes to it, they are all a little hesitant. He has seen Xiaoxian's ability before. How easy is it to challenge him? Who among you is going to challenge? Elder Lihuo looked around. It's better for you to go as a disciple. Li Xiong stood up. No, you don't have to go this time, we can change someone. After hearing Li Xiong's words, Elder Lihuo shook his head. Wang Hu, you can go this time. Senior brother Wang Hu will go in person. Isn't it necessary? Furthermore, senior brother Wang Hu has been a professor for so long and rarely challenges others. Several professors were stunned. Before Li Xiong could speak, Elder Lihuo said directly, you just want to ask why you are not allowed to go to Xiaoxian this time, right? Elder Lihuo smiled slightly. No need to say anything, I know what you want to ask. Under the leadership of Wang Hu. Hearing this, Li Xiong also nodded one after another and complimented, Master really has a clever plan. In this way, even if Xiaoxian is deposed in the future, Wu Men will not be able to find Master on your head. This is really killing 2 birds with 1 stone. A trace of hesitation flashed in Wang Hu's eyes. However, this disciple still wants to ask Master, to what extent should we beat Xiaoxian? The relationship between Bai Sheng's lineage and Wu Meng's lineage was not good. Such a person may not be reliable, but why did the Agni Fire elders choose Wang Hu in the end? Is there no problem with this? Now needless to say, ordinary professors have absolutely no strength to challenge Wang Hu. As for Xiaoxian, a newcomer, he is even less powerful. You have been defeated by Xiaoxian once, haven't you woke up yet? Let your senior brother Wang Hu give you a try. Elder Li Huo interrupted Li Xiong, and then said to Wang Hu next to him, Wang Hu, what do you think of it? You know, although Xiaoxian is arrogant, he also has some background behind him. On the contrary, Li Xiong, who stayed where he was, looked at Elder Li Huo carefully, with a bit of confusion in his eyes. The professors also nodded one after another, and then slowly left. Although it is said that Li Xiong was a disciple taught by Elder Li Huo himself and received the latter's true inheritance. Yes. Yes, but, after all, Wang Hu is only a member of Bai Sheng's lineage, not your own, master. Can he be honest and obedient? Li Xiong still said. Master, what do you mean? Li Xiong was a little confused. This time, that time. A trace of gloom flashed across Elder Li Huo's face. Yes, this Xiaoxian is so arrogant that he has humiliated you in public. I am about to take care of him, how can you stop me? Li Xiong was a little angry. Li Xiong's flattery made Elder Li Huo listen with gusto. Now we have to take action against Xiaoxian. If it weren't for the support of that old guy Wu Meng, I would have dealt with this little Xiaoxian long ago. Later, Elder Li Huo also continued, in addition, there is another question. Do you know that this time Qinglian Valley is actually a conspiracy? Since it is what the dean said, disciples should obey it. In addition, this time, Xiaoxian has gained so much limelight. If Wang Hu is also a proud person, there is no way he can just watch him make trouble like this. Thousands of wares will wear horses but none will wear them. Elder Li Huo looked contemptuous. Now do you understand what it means to be a teacher? Don't worry about this. Just cut off the arms and legs. However, in terms of strength, it is not as good as Wang Hu of Bai Sheng's lineage. Master. It doesn't have to be too ugly. When the time comes, I would like to see why he participates in the trial of Qinglian Valley. Yes. He knew that although Wang Hu was not weak in strength, he was from Bai Sheng's lineage and did not belong to the Professor's Academy. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 682. Conspiracy. Master, you mean? Hearing these words, Li Xiong was stunned. Didn't you say that there was a treasure in the Qinglian Valley, so the proud men of the Mingzhou territory were allowed to go in and look for it? Regarding the disciple's question, Elder Li Huo just shook his head. It can't be that simple. Do you know that usually the Qinglian Valley can only be opened once every 5 years? This time it is less than 3 years since the last time it was opened, and it is being opened again. Don't you feel weird? Say these words. Li Xiong was also stunned. As the eldest disciple of the Professor Academy, although his strength is not as good as that of Wang Hu, he still has the qualifications to enter the Qinglian Valley. He originally planned to take advantage of the opportunity to get more opportunities. But now, it sounds like Elder Li Huo means, is there still trouble in this trial in the Qinglian Valley? Forget it, I'd better not talk about some things as a teacher. As long as you go to Qinglian Valley and be careful and don't show off, you should be able to return safely. Elder Li Huo said, when the time comes, you can use this jade pendant to contact your teammates in the Qinglian Valley. After speaking, Elder Li Huo took out a black jade pendant. Yes. Thank you, Master. Li Xiong listened to Elder Li Huo's words. Although he was confused in his heart, he nodded honestly in the end. But, who is this person on the same team? Don't ask about other things. Furthermore, this matter must be kept strictly secret and no one can tell it easily. Did you know? Elder Lihuo looked serious. Although he didn't find out what happened in the end, Li Xiong still nodded honestly and didn't dare to say anything more. The other side. Xiao Xian followed Long Ruoxiu back to Daolan Cave. However, they saw Wu Meng at the door. Wu Meng, dressed in grey robes, stood at the door of Daolan Cave, his face still calm and relaxed. Obviously he had been waiting for a long time. I met the master. I met the master. Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu were also shocked, and quickly said cautiously, I wonder if master is here, what advice do you have? There was a guy who was looking for trouble just now, but I sent him away, Wu Meng said with a smile. I heard that Lihuo has been causing trouble for you recently. Thank you for your concern, master. It's all in accordance with the academy's regulations. It's not really a trouble. Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other. The most important thing for you right now is to prepare for the trial in the Qinglian Valley. You can put other things aside first. Wu Meng frowned slightly. Master will be here these days. If there is any trouble, master will help you solve it. Thank you very much. Thank you, master, for Wu Meng's active help. Xiao Xian is also grateful. After all, he spent a lot of effort to win the trial in Qinglian Valley. If you encounter any trouble before entering the valley, all your efforts will be wasted. Moreover, judging from the performance of Elder Lihuo, this elder really wanted to cause trouble for him. But let's talk about it. There aren't necessarily many conflicts between him and Elder Lihuo. Why does this guy have to trouble him? Wang Hu, do you know him? Just when Xiao Xian was secretly wondering, Wu Meng took the initiative and asked, just now, this guy actually came to your cave and said he wanted to challenge you. Do not know. I don't know him either. Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu were both stunned. So was this guy called by Bai Sheng or Lai Huo? Wu Meng frowned slightly. A grey wind appeared, and then a man in black clothes was directly captured. It was Wang Hu. Wu, I've met Dean Wu. Wang Hu originally wanted to come to Xiao Xian's Daolan cave to have a look, but who knew that he happened to meet Wu Meng? Who asked you to come? Wu Meng looked at Wang Hu and asked. This, I just want to come and see junior brother Xiao Xian. Wang Hu broke out in cold sweat and forced a smile. I heard that junior brother Xiao Xian is also qualified to enter the Qinglian Valley, so I just want to come and have a look. Have a look. What do you want to see? Wu Meng's face turned a little gloomy. After all, he is also the branch dean of a branch. Even though the strength of this branch is not as good as other branches, he will not be fooled by a small professor. Under the dancing grey wind. Like grey pythons. It wrapped around Wang Hu's body, and every contact made the latter twitch like an electric shock. These grey winds not only attacked Wang Hu's body, but also his soul. Disciple doesn't dare to hide it. It's just, Elder Lihuo just asked me to challenge junior brother Xiao Xian under the double sting of his body and soul. Wang Hu was instantly frightened. Tell me everything you know. Wu Meng was not polite. Elder Lihuo said that before junior brother Xiao Xian enters the bottom of Qingliang Valley, the disciples should hurt junior brother Xiao Xian. Wang Hu looked at Xiao Xian and Wu Meng tremblingly. Shameless. You should be from Bai Sheng's lineage. Why are you helping Elder Lihuo so much today? What benefits has he given you? Long Ruoxiu is as careful as her hair. She has been surrounded by the Long family since she was a child. Naturally, I understand that since Wang Hu is a disciple from another lineage, he can come forward to help Elder Lihuo today. This is indeed something worth paying attention to. A piece of black jade pendant. Wang Hu secretly looked at Wu Meng and said carefully, Elder Lihuo got 2 pieces of black jade pendant and said he could give me one. This thing can save my life in Qinglian Valley. What jade pendant? This time it's not just Long Ruoxiu. Even Xiao Xian and Wu Meng felt a little strange. After looking at each other, they couldn't help but look at Wang Hu again. Under such gaze, Wang Hu didn't dare to hide his secret anymore and quickly took out a black jade pendant. On the jade pendant is carved a ferocious three-headed dragon with its tongue sticking out, one spitting fire, one discharging electricity, and the other roaring. And the black jade looks very thick. Obviously not ordinary. Three-headed black dragon jade. Why is there such a thing? Is this something that can only be found in the most mysterious places? After all, Wu Meng was well informed, and he recognized this thing just by looking at it. He couldn't help but said, "Wang Hu, tell me honestly, who gave you this thing?" Disciple dare not hide it. "It was really Elder Lihuo who gave it to me." Wang Hu was about to cry but had no tears. Elder Lihuo. How could he be related to the people in Xianming land? There is also the Xianming Qi and Yin-Yang swordsmanship of Wang Ralong before. What is going on? Several issues are intertwined. Even Wu Meng, who is the branch dean of a lineage, couldn't help but frown. "Wang Hu, you just seem to say that there is another one of this thing? Who gave the other one?" Xiao Xian continued to ask. "I really don't know this." Wang Hu looked bitter. However, it stands to reason that among Elder Lihuo's disciples, only Li Xiong has entered the Qinglian Valley, and the other one should be in Li Xiong's hands. That's it? It seems that this thing should be some kind of pass in Qinglian Valley. Xiao Xian analyzed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 683. This Elder Lihuo is really courageous. He dares to secretly contact people in Xianming land. Wu Meng's eyes instantly became solemn. The mysterious place. This is a very famous place in the Mingzhou realm. To a certain extent, this place is more famous than Qinghua College. The general sect heard about this place. Not to mention taking the initiative to contact them, everyone would avoid them. However, people like Elder Lihuo and Dean Wang Ao can not only learn the Taoist skills of the mysterious land, such as yin and yang swordsmanship. I even found the Xianming Qi and the three-headed black dragon jade. This is unusual. At least it shows that they must have an unusual relationship with Xianming land. But Qinghua College has always maintained a neutral position within the Mingzhou territory. Why did it suddenly get involved with the notorious Xianming land this time? Is there no problem in this? Can't figure this out. Xiao Xian couldn't help but look more solemn on his face, and asked Wu Meng, "Master Wu, do you think Elder Lihuo has such courage? How dare he go behind the dean's back and contact people in the Xianming land in private?" Probably not. Although this guy Lihuo usually acts recklessly, he is not brave enough to contact people in the Xianming land in private. Wu Meng pondered for a moment. Perhaps there is still someone behind the fire, or he has other backers. Backing. The backer behind an elder from Qinghua College. The people present couldn't help but gasped, and their eyes were fixed on Wang Hu. Wang Hu showed an embarrassed expression on his face. This time, he just listened to Elder Lihuo's words, came to challenge Xiao Xian, and got a three-headed black dragon jade by the way. He didn't know anything else. But now, for some things, he explained with a light "I don't know anything," and he was afraid that he would not be able to pass Wu Meng's test. "Wang Hu, don't you have nothing to say?" Wu Meng didn't say anything, but Xiao Xian next to him asked, "You've been with Elder Lihuo for a long time. Don't you know anything?" This Elder Lihuo is usually very careful in doing things, and the only person he trusts is Li Xiong. Wang Hu said coyly, As for me, I'm just a tool. Then you are willing to be his tool. It seems that you are really loyal to Elder Lihuo. Long Ruoxia couldn't help but sneer. Disciple is ashamed. Wang Hu looked ashamed. No need to say more. But since you chose this path at that time, you have to pay the price. Wu Meng's face was serious, a grey aura appeared in his hand, and the clothes on Wang Hu's chest in front of him were instantly lifted off. Then, he took out a grey rune from the space magic weapon. Directly attached to Wang Hu's chest. This is... Wang Hu was shocked and frightened. Lost Heart Talisman. As long as I am willing, I can destroy your foundation and lose all your cultivation at any time with just a thought. Wu Meng said calmly, in 3 days, there will be a trial in the Qinglian Valley. I want you to enter the bottom of the Qinglian Valley and work with Xiao Xian to figure out the relationship between Qinghua Academy and the Xianming land. This, Elder Wu Meng, this disciple is just an ordinary student. Wang Hu couldn't help being surprised. What are you afraid of? Xiao Xian has never been afraid of a new student. You, an old student, have nothing to be afraid of. Wu Meng's face turned pale. Don't you know that if you do something wrong, you will have to pay the price? Speaking of which, Wang Hu also understood that if Wu Meng didn't agree to this matter today, he might not have a good result. No matter whether it is sent to the punishment Elder Lei Hongming or the Dean Kang Long, he will all be severely punished. As for the heart-losing curse that Wu Meng set for him, he can find a Dao Wen master to solve it in the future. Figure this out. Wang Hu also felt a little more relaxed. What Dean Wu said is absolutely true. In this case, the disciple will naturally cooperate with junior brother Xiao Xian to figure out the ins and outs of this matter. What do you think about this? Wu Meng continued to ask. The disciple was thinking in his heart at that time. Wang Hu also hurriedly explained, actually, the reason why the disciple obeyed the instructions of Elder Lihuo was because he couldn't help himself. I can't help myself, but I'm happy to accept it. Only you know this. Long Ruoxiu sneered. She knows a lot about the affairs of the Professor Academy. Apart from anything else, she could roughly tell from the attitude of professors like Wang Hu towards Elder Lihuo that Elder Lihuo still had a high status in the professorial college. More importantly, Elder Agni controls the allocation of resources in the professorial academy. Professors such as Wang Hu and Li Xiong were all rushing to curry favor with him, just hoping to get some resources to take care of him. This, people have to bow their heads when they are under the eaves. Wang Hu smiled apologetically. What you said is correct. It's just that what I'm a little curious about is, when you say these words now, do you really want to help Xiao Xian, or are you selling him out as soon as you leave? Long Ruoxiu stepped forward, looked at Wang Hu, and said, I think you also want to learn yin-yang stealth technique. Certainly. Junior brother Xiao Xian's yin-yang stealth technique is unique and everyone wants to learn it. Wang Hu's eyes lit up. After saying this, Xiao Xian next to him was also stunned. He really didn't expect that Long Ruoxiu would say such words at this time. After all, logically speaking, Wang Hu is now their enemy, and they should have a hostile relationship. What do you think of Long Ruoxiu's appearance? Want to win over this person? This made him frown slightly. From a relationship perspective, he didn't know Wang Hu well and didn't know what kind of person he was. Moreover, Wang Hu also had intentions to deal with him. Isn't it a bit early to talk about cooperation now? Ahem. Logically speaking, when you enter the Qinglian Valley, everyone in Qinghua Academy should be allies. Long Ruoxiu winked at Xiao Xian. Even Bai Feng and the others cannot openly attack one of their own, otherwise not even Dean Kang Long can get around him. Yes. Junior sister Long is right. Wang Hu nodded quickly. I saw that knocking on the mountain and shaking the tiger had an effect. Long Ruoxiu continued, however, even if everyone is from Qinghua Academy, sometimes we may not all agree on some things. Just like this time. As one of the 8 inner disciples, Bai Feng will undoubtedly lead the team, but do all his subordinates really admire him? After saying that, Long Ruoxiu looked back at Wang Hu and said, "What do you professors in the college think? Now tell me and listen." For Long Ruoxiu, this hot potato. Wang Hu also had a headache and was speechless. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 684. This, I really don't know. To be honest, the strength of their teaching college is not as good as the other 8 major lineages, and not even as strong as yours. Li Xiong is the only one who has entered the Qinglian Valley, and I am not a professor of their college. People. Wang Hu looked scared. After hearing these explanations, the faces of Xiao Xian and others turned out to be a little more contemptuous. Indeed, Wang Hu is indeed not from the professor's academy, but a disciple of Bai Sheng's lineage. But from a certain perspective, he came to Xiao Xian this time to teach the academy and to do things for Elder Li Huo. A human spirit like Elder Li Huo. Being able to take out something as important as the 3-headed black dragon jade must have a purpose. Is it possible that it was just because Wang Hu took action to teach Xiao Xian a lesson? Doesn't this make them all fools? This matter? You'd better give me a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, the heart-losing curse is no joke. Wu Meng sneered. In Qinghua College, he is different from other branch deans. He is the branch dean who has climbed up from the bottom step by step. I am used to seeing the chaos and killings at the bottom, and have experienced countless intrigues. It can be said that in Qinghua Academy, except Dean Kang Long, he does not take anyone seriously. Besides this time, Wang Hu has already made his attitude clear. The purpose of his coming to Xiao Xian's Daolan cave was to cause trouble for Xiao Xian. In this case, Wu Meng didn't need to be polite. The Grey power is running. Grey Dao power, like a poisonous snake, gradually emerged from Wang Hu's chest and slowly entangled towards the position of his qi. At first, Wang Hu didn't feel much. But the next second, he discovered that this thick grey power was slowly eroding his qi. Let his qi gradually shrink. The sea of qi is where a cultivator's Tao power is stored. If this place shrinks, wouldn't it have affected his cultivation foundation? I was wrong, I was wrong. Dean Wu, please spare your life. This disciple realizes his mistake. The students who can enter Qinghua Academy are all powerful and talented practitioners. The reason why they can enjoy the many resources of Qinghua Academy is also based on their talents. But if his qi is destroyed, needless to say, even if Wu Meng is punished for private punishment later, Wang Hu's life will not be easy. How could a useless person be qualified to be in Qinghua College? Wang Hu knew this very well. It seems, you still haven't figured it out. In this case, let me teach you some lessons. Perhaps, this will have some impact on you in the future. Wu Meng said. The grey power emerged again. Directly towards Wang Hu's qi to intimidate him again. I said, I don't know much, but I tell you everything. It is indeed Elder Li Huo who asked me to deal with junior brother Xiao Xian. The elder didn't say much. He just said that he should have a fight with junior brother Xiao Xian so that he cannot participate in the trial in Qinglian Valley. As for other things, Elder Li Huo said that when I enter the Qinglian Valley and take these 3 black dragon jade, someone will naturally contact me. Wang Hu was like pouring beans out of a bamboo tube, telling everything. Xiao Xian, on the other hand, looked a little more curious after seeing this scene, and said directly, so, this thing can be regarded as a token. Using the 3-headed black dragon jade as a token shows that people from the Xianming land were indeed involved in the trial in the Qinglian Valley. Wu Meng frowned. But why does Elder Li Huo not let me participate in the trial in Qinglian Valley? Does he have other alternatives? Xiao Xian then asked. When these words were asked, everyone present looked a little more serious. Indeed, Elder Lihuo specially sent Wang Hu out, and it seemed that the purpose was relatively simple. Just to cause trouble for Xiaoxian. It made Xiaoxian unable to participate in the trial in Qinglian Valley. He can understand this to some extent. After all, there are some conflicts between them, and it is understandable to target Xiaoxian specifically. Ordinarily, if Elder Lihuo does not allow Xiaoxian to participate in the Qinglian Valley trial, there seems to be no need to let Wang Hu challenge him with such fanfare. Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu couldn't help but gasped. But Elder Agni's subsequent operations were a bit strange. Wanting to understand this, Xiaoxian's face suddenly became a little more curious, and he said directly, "If my prediction is correct, the person who can take my place in the Qinglian Valley trial should be Wang Hu, the mastermind behind the scenes." Wang Rolong. I'm afraid neither of them participated in the trial in Qinglian Valley. If so, King Hua Academy might send someone else there. If Wang Hu fought with Xiaoxian, both sides would suffer. Although they have never really seen anyone from the Xianming land, they have heard about this place from Wu Meng for such a long time. Then this person, isn't he the one who is causing trouble behind the scenes? Master, this matter is not trivial. Should we tell the dean? Long Ruoxiu suggested. Although Wang Rolong is nothing to fear. Xiaoxian shook his head and said, since Dean Kanglong is not willing to waste time on this matter, it also means that this matter is not that important. My teacher feels that Wang Rolong is not just targeting Xiaoxian this time. Wu Meng shook his head. If you want to target such people, you have to take a lot of risks. After all, those who can go to Xianming land are desperados. But if he is involved with Xianming land, it will be a problem. No need to say more. He analyzed this. Then, this matter will most likely fall on his head. Wu Meng and Long Ruoxiu also nodded one after another, obviously agreeing with Xiaoxian's words. No. I don't think it's necessary anymore. This person is really annoying, like a candy. Could it be that he is really obsessed with you? Long Ruoxiu said dissatisfied. The biggest vested interest in something must be the driving force behind it. Maybe we can only do this on our own. Hiss. Needless to say. After all, I really want to talk about it. But he understood the meaning of these words. Wu Meng obviously already knew something about the Xianming land. I just don't want to say it. I think Dean Kanglong also knows about this matter, but he doesn't take it seriously. This name appeared in the minds of three people at the same time. Hearing this, Xiaoxian also frowned slightly. This shows that there are some concerns behind this. Wu Meng shook his head. On the contrary, his purpose of doing this seems to be just to enter the Qinglian Valley, and this purpose is likely to be related to the Xianming land. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 685. Xiaoxian, in this case, you can only rely on you to solve the matter in Xianming land. Wu Meng turned around and explained, after all, we have no tangible evidence now. Yes, Master Wu. Xiaoxian also nodded to express his understanding. But, Master, what you mean is that after Xiaoxian enters the Qinglian Valley, let him deal with the people in the Xianming land alone? Is this too dangerous? Long Ruoxiu frowned tightly. Danger? What are you afraid of? Xiaoxian smiled instead. Like it was such a simple thing. But when he looked like this, Long Ruoxiu next to him was very anxious. Xiaoxian, do you know what this means? Those people in Xianming land are murderous demons. You want to fight with them, though? How brave do you have? Don't worry, isn't it dangerous? I have encountered too many dangers for such a long time, but I have never taken these dangers to heart. Xiaoxian said nonchalantly, as a cultivator, if you are afraid of danger, then the path of cultivation in the future may not be that long. You, if you don't listen to good people, you will suffer the consequences, Long Ruoxiu pouted. I know your good intentions, but practicing Taoism involves facing various risks, Xiao Xian explained. Just like the battle between freshmen and the selection of professors, we would not have changed if we did not have such experiences. Strong, isn't it? You actually think so? Wu Meng was a little surprised. Making Master Wu laugh, Xiao Xian said with a smile. It's nothing to laugh about. I just didn't expect that you could have such a tough heart. This really impresses my teacher. Wu Meng nodded and said with a smile, in that case, do you plan to accept this mission? Yes. The trip to Qinglian Valley is going to happen anyway. So many tasks will give you more motivation. Xiao Xian smiled casually. Although I have already predicted it in my mind. But after hearing Xiao Xian's words, Wu Meng still nodded, popped out a jade pendant, handed it to Xiao Xian and said, this is the secret key to the Lost Heart curse. You can kill him at any time if you want. Besides, it's invisible to the devil. Yes. Xiao Xian couldn't help but be secretly shocked after hearing this. He could actually tell that Wu Meng, as the branch dean of Qinghua College, sometimes did things that did not sound like a branch dean. Even, sometimes it is quite extreme. It's like now, as a branch dean, casting a curse on a disciple. It seems a bit unreasonable. But considering what Wang Hu and Elder Li Huo did, Xiao Xian could also feel that it was normal to deal with them like this. Please rest assured, Dean Wu, this disciple will definitely cooperate well with junior brother Xiao Xian. Wang Hu was frightened. This is best. Wu Meng was non-committal about his statement. The problem is now. If it is confirmed that there are people from Xianming land in our Qinghua Academy team, maybe this trial will be very dangerous. Long Ruoxiu couldn't help but say. Don't worry, now that we know so much information, the next thing will be much simpler, Xiao Xian said. At least, we have some precautions. Perhaps it is this precaution that can have unexpected effects at critical moments, Xiao Xian pondered. But the people who participated in the Green Lotus Valley trial this time are not all freshmen like Wang Rolong and Chen Meng. There are also many old students, and many of them have even reached the peak of the spiritual god realm. However, I'm afraid he doesn't have the heart to put all his energy into you during this trial in the Qinglian Valley. Qinghua Academy and Kanglong Empire are actually weak in the Mingzhou territory. The 8 inner disciples. Except for these people from the Kanglong Empire. Based on Xiao Xian's own judgment, I am afraid that these people will not be polite to him if he meets him again this time in Qinglian Valley. Maybe he wouldn't escape from the Kanglong Empire so easily. Of course, it's not just these sections. There is also an existence like the Xianming land that is neither an enemy nor a friend. There will probably be a lot of trouble during the trip to the Green Lotus Valley. In fact, he really didn't expect Wu Meng to say this. He also had a general understanding of this trial in the Qinglian Valley, and knew that this was an opportunity for all the geniuses in the Mingzhou domain. Xiao Xian did not hide anything. As he spoke, he looked at Wu Meng and said, however, the disciple is a little curious. It is said that the Mingzhou territory is so large, not just the Kanglong Empire and the Qinghua Empire. Why are there only these few sects? I see. Even if Qing Li hadn't helped him attract some attention at that time. Speaking of which, if the Kanglong Empire hadn't persecuted him in every possible way at that time, he should have some status within the Mingzhou domain, but it seems that is not the case now. I heard that when you were in the Kanglong Empire, you still had a lot of grievances. Wu Meng also saw that Xiao Xian's expression was a little unnatural. Now he will not come to Qinghua College. It's just that the Qinglian Valley is too big. Even if it is opened, you can't fully explore it? Yes. Long Ruoxiu added, let alone an inner disciple like Bai Feng. This is good news. He has not forgotten how he was forced to flee in embarrassment by Mo Hong and Zhao Wuji's people in the Kanglong Empire. On the contrary, the top management of Mingzhou territory will delimit the area, so that on the one hand, all the Qinglian Valley areas can be fully explored, and on the other hand, the participants will not engage in unnecessary competition. Xiao Xian couldn't help but be stunned. Wu Meng stroked his beard and said, "The Green Lotus Valley Trial is a grand event for the entire Mingzhou territory. All young talents in the Mingzhou territory will participate in it, including Snow Wolf Valley, Wanbao Pavilion, Blood Evil Sect, Qinglai Palace, and even the land of Xianming will send talented people to participate, and if Bai Feng is not stupid, he should know that he has many competitors." After hearing this, for him currently, it is indeed a mountain-like obstacle. He originally thought that Qinghua Academy was already quite strong. Hearing the series of familiar sect names, Xiao Xian couldn't help but think of his past in the Kanglong Empire. Regarding these words of Long Ruoxiu, Beifeng is indeed a problem. To be honest, Beifeng, an inner disciple, is indeed the biggest threat to this trial in the Qinglian Valley. At that time, my disciple came out of the Kanglong Empire together with Qing Li. At that time, the Kanglong Empire was also in a lot of difficulties. Xiao Xian naturally nodded one after another, he knew the meaning of these words. Wu Meng said, "Speaking of which, regardless of the Kanglong Empire or the Qinghua Empire, our strength is not considered an upper-class force in the Mingzhou territory. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors." Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 686. Xiao Xian was calm. Hearing these words, he couldn't help but frown slightly. He had also heard before that Qinghua College was a relatively famous college in the Mingzhou territory. He originally thought that Qinghua Academy should be considered strong. At least it was extraordinary in the Mingzhou domain, but now it seems that this is not the case. According to Wu Meng, Qinghua Academy can't even have much fame in Mingzhou domain, which really surprised Xiao Xian, and at the same time he felt a little helpless. After all, his strength is not even considered the number one in Qinghua Academy. And Qinghua Academy is not even ranked in the Mingzhou territory. How can he solve the problems in the Xianming land? You don't have to be too arrogant. Even if Qinghua College is the weakest in the Mingzhou territory, it does not mean that others will bully our college. It seemed that he could see what Xiao Xian was thinking. Wu Meng said with a smile, "After all, our college is also a relatively famous college in the Mingzhou territory. It has trained countless talented students and disciples. With this relationship, they still won't do anything to you." Student and disciple, Xiao Xian frowned slightly. This time, "Wang Hu, please go back first," Wu Meng said excitedly, but when he looked back and saw Wang Hu, he changed his words and said, "I still have something to tell you." Yes, Wang Hu nodded quickly, turned around and left. "Wait a minute, after you go back, if Elder Li Huo asks you what happened today, how should you answer?" Wu Meng asked. "This, even if I am not junior brother Xiao Xian's opponent and fail to complete the task," Wang Hu asked carefully. "You, a cultivator at the peak of the spiritual god realm, can't beat Xiao Xian. Moreover, he returned unscathed. Do you think Elder Agni would be so stupid?" Wu Meng shook his head, "Your reason is untenable." "Then, what Dean Wu means?" Wang Hu quickly put on a respectful expression. "Just say that Xiao Xian and you are equal in fighting, but he has surrendered and is willing to listen to you in Qinglian Valley." Wu Meng thought for a while and then said, "This may make Elder Li Huo believe it." "Yes. It's obvious." Wang Hu didn't quite understand Wu Meng's words. However, in front of the former, he did not dare to ask any more questions. He just nodded honestly and continued, "But, I still have a small question." "Just ask." "What if Elder Li Huo doesn't believe it?" Wang Hu understands. No matter if he is from Bai Sheng's lineage or from the professor's academy. Ever since he had something like the heart-losing curse, he had to completely stand on Wu Meng's side. After all, the person who controls his life and death is Wu Meng. Then it depends on whether you are willing to pay something. Wu Meng narrowed his eyes. If you can be seriously injured, I'm afraid Elder Li Huo won't believe it, right? Serious injuries. Okay, disciple is willing to follow Dean Wu's arrangements. Although Wang Hu felt a panic in his heart, he finally gritted his teeth and said, but there is one more thing that I don't understand. I don't know, Dean Wu, what do you think? If Elder Li Huo really arranged for someone to lurk inside Qinghua College, I'm afraid even Elder Li Huo will know what happened today, right? Who do you suspect? Wu Meng was a little surprised. Disciples dare not say. But it doesn't matter. The disciple believes that the greatest possibility is indeed Wang Ralong, but it may not be that easy to do this with just one Wang Ralong. Wang Hu said carefully, disciple suspects that he may have helpers. Well said. So, tell me who this helper will be. Wu Meng continued, Wang Ralong is considered the arrogant person among the freshmen of Qinghua College. There seems to be no one else who can be used as a helper except Mu Xiaolong, Chen Meng, and some other proud men. It's Mu Xiaolong, Wang Hu said. There was a bit of questioning in his eyes. Then, those new students with family influence may also use a lot of resources to get a place for themselves. How can this be? Ahem, I understand what you mean, but this matter still needs to be considered in the long term, right? Opportunities like the Qinglian Valley are very important. Each lineage must rely on itself to obtain a quota. Mu Xiaolong could find a way to sneak into the Green Lotus Valley trial, so, why couldn't Wu Meng find a way to get Long Ruoxiu to sneak in? They thought before. That's all. No. Ruoxiu, you should know that the two people you value most as a teacher are you and Xiaoxian, Wu Meng said helplessly. Needless to say, deans like Wang Ao Baisheng and Lu Lianyi would find a way to allow these extremely talented disciples to participate in the trials in the Qinglian Valley. Wu Meng was also a little embarrassed. After finding any reason to drive Wang Hu away, he hesitated for the first time and was speechless. As a freshman, it must be very difficult to get a place in the Qinglian Valley. After all, there is only one place among the freshmen. As Wu Meng said, his eyes suddenly became more determined, perhaps, I can find you a place as a teacher. It's not impossible. Long Ruoxiu was the first to object, is it possible that what Dean Kanglong said before was all false? After hearing this, Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu were stunned. At that time, Dean Kanglong said that only the first in the battle among freshmen would be qualified to enter the Qinglian Valley. How could there be others? Mu Xiaolong. Don't say anything else. Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other with a bit of confusion on their faces. Is it possible that the previous cooperation was all fake? Wu Meng explained, but if before the trial, a qualified disciple cannot participate in the trial due to some reasons, he can still be replaced by someone from his own lineage. If that's the case, Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu instead focused on Wu Meng. But now, the quota can be changed. Probably it's because the disciple's strength and talent are too low, so he is not qualified to enter the Qinglian Valley. Long Ruoxiu said deliberately. That's because our lineage is too weak, so we are not qualified to enter the Qinglian Valley, Long Ruoxiu said in a different way. Those are not fake, it's just that, their purpose is to deceive you, Wang Hu said seriously. 3 days ago, the disciple saw that Mu Xiaolong and Wang Ralong communicated and promised Mu Xiaolong a quota for Qinglian Valley. Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu looked at them with this look. Talented children like Wang Ralong, Mu Xiaolong, and Chen Meng. But this time Wu Meng stopped Long Ruoxiu. But now, weak is a bit weaker, but not to that point. If I remember correctly, they were not opponents in the freshman battle, right? But at the same time. After all, Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu are not weak in talent. They are even qualified to compete with Wang Rulong, Chen Meng, and others, at least not worse than Mu Xiaolong. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 687. Is this true? This, the qualification for the Green Lotus Valley trial, is very precious. Master, are you kidding me? Long Ruoxiu couldn't believe it. If a place like Qinglian Valley didn't have huge resources, it would be absolutely impossible for someone to just give up their spot. Although Wu Meng was good to them. But finding something like a spot for the Green Lotus Valley trial cannot be obtained with just a few words and a casual shock. This is now too the reason why Long Ruoxiu and Xiaoxian take this matter so seriously. Don't worry, what I said is true to my word. Wu Meng smiled slightly. There are some things that I can still accomplish as a teacher. All right. In that case, this is naturally the best. Although Xiaoxian was a little hesitant, he still nodded, and then asked with some doubts, however, there is one more thing I don't understand. Why didn't the master just take Wang Hu's life? With the heartbreaking curse on him, even if he thinks about it, he wouldn't dare to refuse. It's not that simple. Although Wang Ao and Bai Sheng cannot unravel the heart-losing curse of master, they can still figure it out if Wang Hu takes the initiative to expose it. Wu Meng shook his head and said, of course, he maliciously challenged you first. Even if the matter is exposed, he will probably not get any good results. As long as he has some brains, he should not do such a thing that harms others and does not benefit himself. Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu nodded. Wu Meng is the branch dean, so these analyses are quite reliable. However, what they were more curious about was how Wu Meng could get a spot for this trial. You know, their lineage has always been relatively weak. Among the freshmen, only Xiaoxian got a quota. Among the old students, only Wang Tai and Meng Xiaoli had quotas. The others unfortunately failed in the selection of old students. Let Wang Tai and Meng Xiaoli give up their places. Not to mention that Wu Meng couldn't do such a thing. Even if he did, Long Ruoxiu wouldn't accept it. Is it possible that Wu Meng can still find a spot from other sources? This is somewhat incredible. After all, for such a long time, other veins have been unkind to Wu Meng's lineage. This is a lice on the bald man's head, it is obvious. Is Wu Meng going to find a spot from another person? This difficulty is not trivial. You don't have to worry about it. Since I agreed to Ruoxiu, I will naturally find this spot. Wu Meng was full of confidence. I have been a teacher at Qinghua College for so many years, and I still have some respect. Don't worry. For these words, Xiaoxian and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other, with some doubts in their eyes. Wu Meng lineage. In Qinghua Academy, he is notoriously weak. Regardless of whether they are old or new, even in terms of cultivation resources, they are much weaker than other veins. So why can Wu Meng be so confident? Wanting to understand this, his face became a little more curious, and he asked directly, Master Wu, since you are so capable, I won't ask any more questions. However, there is one more thing that I would like Master Wu to advise me on. But it doesn't matter. If 4 people from our lineage can enter the Qinglian Valley, then who among the 4 will take command? You, senior brother Wang Tai, and senior sister Meng Xiaoli can both take command. This is only part of the matter, but there are still some problems. What if Long Ruoxiu disobeys? Xiaoxian asked directly. When he asked this question, the faces of Wu Meng and Long Ruoxiu next to him looked a little strange, especially the latter, whose face was somewhat ugly. Xiaoxian. What do you mean? What do you mean if I disobey? Could it be that I am such a person who doesn't care about the overall situation? Long Ruoxiu's eyes widened. You are a person with a strong sense of autonomy. Are you worried that other people will influence your decision-making during the trial? This is no longer something to be too proud of. However, they did not expect that Wu Meng could say such a thing. Although he has not yet entered Qinglian Valley, he knows very well that with his current strength, he basically has no say in Qinghua College. To this news. It's not that, at least, I have some doubts about whether you will act like a young lady then, Xiao Xian said in a low voice. Xiao Xian was a little excited instead. Is it possible that you really plan to go it alone? Although they knew that Wu Meng had always been unsuccessful in Qinghua College. Obviously, what happened in the Qinglian Valley this time was a very sad mess. If he could have some autonomy, at least he would not be morally kidnapped by others. This is what Xiao Xian wants. What? Long Ruoxiu was obviously dissatisfied with this answer. Master, I understand what you mean. Say it. What are you going to do? You know, no matter what Qinghua Academy says, when they enter the Qinglian Valley together, they should still be more united. About this question, Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu were both a little surprised. In fact, before entering Qinglian Valley, he was a little worried. There are also many deans and elders who specifically target him. It's not that he doubts Wang Tai and Meng Zili, but he doesn't trust Bai Feng and other senior students of Qinghua Academy so much. Xiao Xian smiled instead. Don't worry, I am relatively clear and understand this matter. But from Wu Meng's words, it seems that they want to go it alone. From what he meant, it seemed that he didn't take Qinghua College's layout and arrangements to heart at all. What's more, there are people from Xianming land involved now. It's just a little arrogant. Okay. Long Ruoxiu was shocked. Even if you get it, you will probably be snatched away by people like Bai Feng in the end. Therefore, it is basically impossible to rely on Qinghua Academy to obtain resources. Wu Meng quickly smoothed things over. When the time comes, you must work together to get a share of the Qinglian Valley. Just discuss whatever you have to do. Wu Meng smiled and said, you don't have to worry about this. Our lineage has always been at odds with other lines. You don't have to worry about other people's orders. The four of you don't have to care about other people's orders at all. My teacher is willing to believe that Long Ruoxiu is a girl who takes the overall situation into consideration, so you don't need to say these words. Don't say whether they can get the resources in the end. Wu Meng smiled happily. Do you know that this is a very hard job? It is even, very dangerous. Have to. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 688. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. Xiao Xian and other talented students from Qinghua Academy also came to Qinglian Valley under the leadership of Bai Feng. In the past few days, I don't know how Wu Meng operated. He actually asked an old student in his lineage to quit and give his place to Long Ruoxiu. As expected, outstanding freshmen such as Wang Rolong, Mu Xiaolong, and Chen Meng also received quotas for the trial. This really made Xiao Xian feel helpless. It seems that there are so many human accidents in this world. As long as you have enough connections, you can get a spot in the trial even if you don't have to take first place in the freshman battle. At this time, Xiao Xian couldn't help but be a little suspicious. Could it be that Qinghua Academy is also a place full of personal affairs and filth? Meet again. Brother, look, aren't those Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu? Not far away, Mu Xiaolong and Wang Rolong looked at Xiao Xian and others coldly, with ridicule and disdain on their faces. For these dagger-like glances, Xiao Xian was a little more helpless. He has seen quite a few shameless people, but there are really not many as shameless as them. I really want to talk about it. These two guys were both defeated in the freshman battle, and it was naturally very simple to deal with them. To put it harshly, if these people who come in through the back door don't have enough strength, I'm afraid it might be dangerous in Qinglian Valley. Relative to the hostility between Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong. Chen Meng looked at Xiao Xian with a somewhat complicated expression. She and Xiao Xian have not known each other for a long time, but she really felt the pressure on Xiao Xian. Especially during the Battle of Freshmen, it was the first time for her to face the Xianming Qi sacrificed by Wang Rolong. I feel an overwhelming sense of oppression among my peers. But under such circumstances, Xiao Xian was able to withstand the pressure, deal with Wang Rolong, and turn defeat into victory. This alone is enough for her to take it seriously. But speaking of it, Chen Meng and Xiao Xian were still half allies in the battle for freshmen, so she also nodded slightly to Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu and took the initiative to show her goodwill. Regarding Chen Meng's proactive show of kindness, Xiao Xian didn't have much hostility, and also responded with a smile, which was regarded as a reply to her. It seems that they are really tough backstage. Instead, Long Ruoxiu looked at these people and said, I feel that maybe they can become our trouble this time. What do you think? There's always trouble. But their participation is sometimes a good thing, don't you think? Xiao Xian's answer surprised Long Ruoxiu. Long Ruoxiu couldn't help but glance at Xiao Xian, with a bit of disbelief on her face. Are you a little too confident in what you said? Then let's wait and see. On the contrary, I had a hunch that Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong might be just two tool men. Xiao Xian shook his head and explained. Then he shut his mouth and said no more. At this moment, trial disciples from various sects have gathered in front of Qinglian Valley, and Dean Kanglong is also standing in front of the trial disciples from Qinghua Academy. Dean Kanglong, as a master in the realm of the Golden God, is still very respectable in the Mingzhou territory. From time to time, people will take the initiative to come over and say hello. At the same time, Xiao Xian also saw some familiar people. Elder Qi Qian of the Kanglong Empire, Wei Qinglan, the commander of the Forbidden Army, Sidu Shenlong of the Hunter Alliance, Meng Suiao of the Blood Fiend Sect, Wang Ao of the Green Thunder Palace and Zhao Wuji of the Wanbao Pavilion. But most of these people are respectable figures. Even the leading figures in each sect may not always notice Xiao Xian. At most, they only say hello to Dean Kanglong. For this, Xiao Xian can also understand. Speaking of which, many of these people are well-known people in a section. Even if some people want to cause trouble for Xiao Xian, they probably have to check Dean Kanglong's face in advance. How to say? Looking at what you mean, do you know them? Long Ruoxiu looked at Xiao Xian with interest. She knew that Xiao Xian had experienced a period of time in the Kanglong Empire, but she didn't think much about it. She never thought that he could know so many people. Get to know some. But, most of them are not very friendly, and this time it will probably be another problem. Xiao Xian explained helplessly. While talking, some sects at the entrance of Qinglian Valley became chaotic again. A group of people wearing black clothes and black robes rushed to the entrance of Qinglian Valley. The land of Xianming. The most notorious sect in the Mingzhou territory, the Xianming sect, also came to the Qinglian Valley. Old Xueming. I didn't expect that he would lead the team here. Dean Kanglong's face was a little solemn. This guy is the most bloody person in the Xianming sect who practices swimming kung fu. It is said that his blood Ming kung fu killed no less than hundreds of practitioners. Xiao Xian couldn't help but glance at the leader of Xianming sect. It was a tall, thin, middle-aged man. This man had several scars on his face, and his small eyes were shining like soybeans as he glanced at the crowd coldly. Clearly not caring about anyone else. He is the old man Xueming of Xianming section. Although he looks like he is 30 or 40 years old, in fact he is already 80 years old. Long Ruoxiu lowered her voice, because he takes a bath every day with the essence and blood of cultivators, he can stay young forever. Moreover, he is also a cultivator of the Golden God realm, and his strength is comparable to that of Dean Kanglong. Xiao Xian couldn't help but be slightly surprised. A strong man in the realm of the Golden God. Such a person is definitely a top figure in Qinghua Academy, but he is just an ordinary elder in Xianming sect? Could this be the reason why Xianming sect has been able to act recklessly in Mingzhou territory for so many years? Look, those are old man Shilong from the Shilong sect, Li Guangdao from the Golden Sword sect, and Len Aolan from the Snow section. They are all strong men in the Golden God realm. Long Ruoxia continued to explain. They should be the so-called righteous way, right? After hearing this, Xiao Xian also understood a little bit. Maybe it was their presence that kept the Xianming sect from leaving the land of Xianming. Yes. That is, they work together to check and balance, so that the Xianming sect has never been able to get out of the Xianming land, but today, someone from the Xianming sect finally came out. Long Ruoxiu was still frightened. For so many years, in the Mingzhou territory, the Zhendao and the Xianming sect have only seen constant disputes, and countless disciples have died. The two sides have already had a blood feud, and today they meet again. I'm afraid, things are not easy to solve. It seemed to prove that Long Ruoxiu was right. She finished speaking. A pale, tall old man from the Shilong sect stood up and said angrily, Xueming, I didn't expect you to dare to come in person. Is it because you want to save my son's life? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 689. Jajja. Succumb to death? Then we have to see if your Shilong has this ability. Old man Xueming obviously didn't take old man Shilong's words to heart. If you really had this ability, your son wouldn't have died inexplicably. Court death. Shilong Fishan. Old man Shilong roared angrily. A fierce white power flashed in his hand, turning into a giant stone dragon and crashing towards the old man Xueming. Changes occurred suddenly. Old man Shilong and old man Xueming are both strong men in the Golden God realm, and their actions can destroy the heaven and earth. Dean Kanglong, Len Aolan and other powerful people in the Golden God realm reacted instantly. After the Dao Force barrier was spread out, it enveloped his disciples. In front of the powerful people of the Golden God realm, talented disciples of the spiritual God realm like Xiao Xian Long Ruoxiu are like ants. The slightest aftermath can kill a large area. Enough. Two masters, this does not seem to be a place for fighting. Stop it. Kang Long and Li Guangdao tried to persuade him, and even Len Aolan, who had always been arrogant, frowned. Old man Shilong and old man Xueming also understand. This place is indeed not the place for fighting. After glaring at each other, they also put away their tactics and returned to their own team, and Xian being the leader. In the Qinglian Valley, if you encounter people from the Xianming land, you will be killed without mercy. Old man Shilong's voice was loud, and it seemed that he was deliberately speaking to old man Xueming. I'll crush those broken stones from Shilong sect when you see them. Old man Xueming was not one to be bullied. You too. The Qinglian Valley is inherently dangerous this time. I think you should not face it like this, otherwise if there is danger, both sides will suffer a lot. Dean Kanglong stood up. Regarding this suggestion, except for the old man Xueming, the other elders of the sect all frowned slightly, obviously a little dissatisfied. Xiao Xian also heard some doubts. Logically speaking, the Xianming land is an evil path and should be unanimously resisted by the righteous people. Just like before. It's better to besiege together. But now, Kang Long said that by letting everyone live in peace, wouldn't this be invisibly helping Xianming land? Needless to say, if this suggestion is adopted, the biggest beneficiary will be the Xianming land. But before that, Qinghua Academy, Shilong sect, Golden Blade sect, and Snow Wolf Valley were all righteous. Now Kang Long suddenly helps Xianming sect speak. Isn't this tantamount to betrayal? Dean Kang Long? What do you mean? Is it possible that you want to lean towards the Xianming sect? Have you surrendered to them? Crazy Blade old man Li Kuangdao was a straightforward person and said angrily, have you forgotten the disciples of King Hua Academy who died in the Xianming land? Of course I don't dare to forget. Just today, which one of you has the ability to prevent people from the Xianming land from entering the Qingliang Valley? Kang Long looked around with a deliberately questioning tone. When such a question was asked, the other sect elders nearby also fell silent. They also had to admit that although the people in the Xianming land were annoying, they were indeed powerful. Together, they, the powerful men of the Golden God realm, could deal with the old man swimming. But if the old man swimming became crazy, he would be in trouble. Everyone was destroyed, and they would be severely injured at most, but the spiritual God realm disciples present would suffer. You must know that these disciples are all talented disciples carefully selected from each sect. If they were all destroyed here, it would be difficult for their sect to rise again in the future. Li Kuangdao snorted coldly, obviously very dissatisfied with Kang Long's choice. What does it mean? GGG, if that's the case, I don't mind blowing myself up. Anyway, I can have so many young people buried with me. I've lived enough. Even Xiao Xian couldn't help but frown slightly. For him, with the help of time, even if the old man Xueming blew himself up, he could escape safely. But the trial in Qinglian Valley will come to nothing. 4th grade monster, green light dragon lake beast. Everything needs to be discussed before the most appropriate solution can be found, right? You don't need to draw conclusions so early. Based on my deduction. Kang Long was determined to be the peacemaker and said with a smile, is it possible that you think things can be so simple this time? Haha Leng Alan didn't say much, but from his cold tone, it was clear that he was very unhappy. But from the words of Elder Kang Long, he still heard something different. As the dean of King Hua College, he took the initiative to help Xianming land. Such things were enough to show that the relationship between Kang Long and Xianming sect was the relationship is unusual. As the head of the academy, Kang Long should not talk nonsense in front of so many disciples. Therefore, he didn't want to see them really break up. Don't make random guesses. Say it. Please also ask Dean Kang Long to make it clear that this time, what is different about the trip to Qinglian Valley. Leng Alan glanced at Kang Long, with a bit of curiosity on his face. To be honest, over the years, we have claimed to be righteous and have been competing with Xianming land for so many years, but it has had no effect other than hurting both sides. Kang Long said seriously, so, all our trial disciples should be united and should not have differences. Kang Long looked at the three people and said, I think there is no need for us to be so hostile. If we join forces. Xianming sect's methods are indeed amazing. Even you, Kang Long, were bribed. I really don't know what methods they used. For such a look. No doubt everyone was a little shocked. But he said that this trip to Qinglian Valley was not that simple. Old man Xueming looked at the spiritual God realm disciples with cold eyes. Yes, our Golden Blade sect will never reconcile with the Xianming land. Li Kuangdao didn't even look at Kang Long. Not only those powerful men in the Golden God realm, but also disciples like Xiao Xianlong Ruoxia could not help but be full of curiosity. After all, let's talk about it. All right. Similarly, Old Man Chalong and Leng Alan also cast unkind glances at Kang Long. Kang Long, what do you mean? Is it possible that you want to join forces with Xianming land to deal with us? Old Man Chalong sneered, you Kang Long don't remember hatred, but I still remember it. Is it possible that he can know more secrets? On this trip to the Qinglian Valley, all the disciples will encounter an extremely troublesome monster. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 690. Blue Light Dragon Lake Beast. Dean Kanglong, where did you get this news? You can't be deceiving us, right? After hearing these words, Old Man Shilong, Li Guangdao and others were suddenly a little surprised. Even Old Man Xueming, who didn't care about anything before, couldn't help but look over. Kanglong was very satisfied with everyone's reaction and said with a serious face, everyone knows that the trial in Qinglian Valley is not trivial. How could I talk nonsense about this kind of thing? Besides, there are not a few disciples from Qinghua Academy who have entered Qinglian Valley, right? Indeed. In that case, Old Man Kanglong, just tell me what you want. Elder Shilong is quite calm. Although he was a little dissatisfied with what Kanglong said before, he also understood that what Kanglong said still made some sense. At this time, even if he didn't want to in his heart, he didn't seem to have the qualifications to directly fall out with Xianming sect. All we can do is endure. What I mean, as you just said, is for everyone to live in harmony and jointly develop the many benefits of Qinglian Valley, Kanglong said with a smile. Harmony? Harmony with these ghostly guys in Xianming land, Elder Shilong raised his eyebrows. Who knows if these guys will stab you in the back, Li Guangdao was full of distrust. It's not like this has happened before. Len Aolan nodded slightly. That's it? Kanglong also raised his head and glanced at the old man Xueming not far away. Xueming, what do you think of the proposal I just made? You know, this green light dragon lake beast is definitely not something ordinary disciples can deal with. If the disciples of the sect really meet each other alone, I'm afraid the outcome will not be good. Gg, I am willing to cooperate, but, they don't seem to trust our Xianming sect disciples, Xueming sneered. As for the danger, our Xianming sect disciples have been in danger since childhood. Yes, I'm not afraid of any danger. Humph, that's not dangerous, that's cruel. Elder Shilong sneered. You can slander me however you want. My disciples of Xianming sect are indeed stronger than several of your sections. This is an indisputable fact. Old Man Xueming said proudly, as for cooperation, that is a matter for your sections. After saying that, he just closed his eyes and rested his mind. Don't pay attention to other people. Even Kanglong, who took the initiative to organize cooperation, was ignored by him. Haha, Dean Kanglong, it seems that your proposal has been rejected. Elder Shilong was originally unwilling to cooperate with the people of Xianming sect, but he smiled after hearing this. I don't know, Dean Kanglong still has any other suggestions? It's true. Cooperating within the Qinglian Valley is a very appropriate thing. Now that things have developed to this point, I can only call on us to cooperate. Kanglong shook his head slightly. It's just a pity that without the participation of Xianming sect, our strength will definitely be weakened. He said this. Instead, it once again attracted the attention of Elder Shilong, Li Guangdao and Len Aolan, who all looked at him with strange eyes. Before, Dean Kanglong said that he wanted to cooperate with Xianming sect. They were still somewhat suspicious, wondering whether Qinghua Academy really had any collusion with Xianming land. But later, when Old Man Xueming rejected Kanglong, they gave up this idea. After all, I really want to talk about it. Kanglong shook his head and sighed. So, what we have to do is to unite with the Xianming section. Dean Kanglong's words are true, but are they true? As expected, after Kanglong said these words, the old man Xueming became interested. It doesn't matter. Hearing what Old Man Xueming said, Kanglong smiled instead. If I remembered correctly just now, Old Man Xueming still refused to cooperate. Isn't the change now a bit too fast? But why did Kanglong show such a big invitation to cooperate with Xianming sect in Xianming land? For your Xianming dragon. At that time, I am afraid that Xianming sect will immediately crush other sects, so these words naturally aroused their attention. The faces of several powerful men in the Golden God realm present suddenly became serious. Dean Kanglong, the matter has come to an end. If you have any questions, just say it directly, Elder Shillong said directly. Why do we have to let those bastards from Xianming sect cooperate with us? Is it possible that we are weaker than them? Then it's a little strange. Thank you for your trust. This is something that old man Xianming, the leader of the Xianming sect, has been looking for many years. It is said that as long as he finds this thing, he can break through the Golden God realm and step into the legendary Dragon God realm. Today, I can also make a promise to you. If we really get the Dragon of Xianming, when my eldest brother, old man Xianming, reaches the Dragon God realm, your Qinghua Academy will be our ally of the Xianming sect. They all also understand that Xianming sect is no longer weak in strength, and they can barely compete with the cooperation of several orthodox sects. The old man swimming sneered, and then looked at Kanglong with interest. Then I really want to ask Dean Kanglong, where is this Xianming dragon? Can you guide our disciples? But if so, let Elder Xianming raise his strength to the Dragon God realm. If Kanglong simply wants to cooperate, say it. I have been in the Mingzhou territory for many years, and I have never spoken randomly, Kanglong responded. Xueming, are you a little ridiculous? Do you think we will let you get this kind of thing? If that's the case, we Xianming sect can't cooperate. Xianming licked the corner of his mouth. If Qinghua Academy really cooperates with Xianming sect, Kanglong's proposal just now cannot be rejected. Then the situation is different. You don't need to think about it. We can unify the Mingzhou territory. I used the green dragon tortoise shell last night, and the divination results showed that in the Green Lotus Valley this time, in addition to the azure light dragon lake beast, there was also the Xianming dragon. The world is bustling for nothing more than profit. Elder Shilong and Li Guangdao looked at each other with sarcasm on their faces. Dean Kanglong did this for a reason. Let's listen to Dean Kanglong's explanation. Len Alan was relatively calm. Qinghua Academy, Shillong sect, and Snow Wolf sect, the three righteous sects had a pretty good relationship. If their disciples wanted to cooperate, it was just a matter of words from them. The Dragon of Xianming. That's right, our Golden Blade sect doesn't think they are weak, Li Guangdao agreed. It's also very simple. Is it possible that the trial in Qinglian Valley is related to Xianming sect?